Welcome to this week's, I guess, Fireside Chat with Jesse. I'm joined by the Rinaldi advisory team, Liz Rinaldi and Bob Rinaldi, to discuss the Consult Disrupt RAS partnership. Liz and Bob, thanks for joining me, and it's great to have you both on this program again.
It's always a gas.
Thanks for having us. I'm excited that we're here.
Hey,
In this
When,
world of juggling everything, we've had to
yeah.
reschedule.
We only reschedule how many times, Liz?
hey, the best things in life take time, right? So
Yeah,
it's good. It's good.
under one handful.
And Liz, before Bob joined, we were trying to wonder, okay, what background would he have, or what location would he be in? And true to Bob form,
His WeWork space, aka the cigar. No, funny story. The first after joining Bob a little over 2 years ago, the first meeting I had, and obviously I had mostly corporate America experience. First meeting we had, I think it's like 11 a.m. my time, and he's right in the cigar lounge. And I was like, this is very different, and I'm very much here for it.
hey, you know, he's
You only
worked
live
hard as
once.
he's worked hard his entire life. Bob can work wherever Bob wants to work from, I guess.
And
Right?
I can tell you that he still works all the time.
I mean, saying from someone who's sitting on a porch in Colorado, right? Like, can't
Yeah,
really
well,
can't really
tough
complain.
life. Tough life, just.
I know.
You
But
get to do all this and get paid for it too. Amazing.
hey, hey, it's hard work, but someone's got to do it, right?
Someone's got to do it. You got broad shoulders. I-
So what's going on in the world of RAS lately? I've seen some really good press releases on some of the collaborations with some customers in the market space.
Hmm. I'll leave
Yeah,
that to Liz.
no, it's been exciting. We're in an interesting time where there's a lot of great opportunities and people looking to grow and thrive and in different markets. And with the addition of Tom Mariani and Nancy Geary and some of the other advisors we've got, some really good verticals that we've been working on. One of those, are captive programs. We're doing a lot in that space right now. Working with banks, with Harry Kaplan. And then, Bob, true to his form, having his fingers in every other asset of the industry. It's really
Mhm.
fun and it's really been interesting time. There's a lot of excitement in the market right now, and I feel like there's a lot of interest to hone back in on what the equipment finance space does really well.
Yeah, yeah, she covered it all. What she said.
Hey, Liz, what was the last time you heard that from Bob? Right? I mean, come on.
Oh, he's good.
Either he's getting softer in his age, or you're just taking over the reins, which is good.
I'm not even midlife yet.
I call myself midlife.
I
Remember
think,
the
yeah,
bangs I got my midlife crisis a couple months ago?
Oh, no, you don't understand. I mean, I'm going to change my name to Noah. I want to be begetting for the next 500 years.
No, I will say that Bob has the energy of a 22-year-old. When I joined, I was like, so what are we doing? What sort of supplement regime? Are we on hormones? No, it's just
yeah,
cigars and bourbon, I think.
yeah.
Cigars and bourbon. Yeah, it's a new elixir of life.
Yeah.
So when you see Bob go at a trade show, it's like, wow, okay, you just
I will get an air tag one day so I can finally figure out what their man is during these conferences.
it's fantastic. Yeah, well, it's also a breath of fresh air that when these organizations are starting up, or even some long term, I guess, tenured organizations are reaching out and asking for advice or just overall general direction of the company. Because we're seeing that a lot too. Um, and it's just as opposed to just kind of stumbling through it themselves. So I think that's refreshing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, not certainly. There are quite a few of the entrepreneurs and leasing company owners and principals that they think they have all the answers. And they can do it all on their own, and they can, until they can't, or until they make a mistake. I'm not saying we know everything, but I like to think that I've probably made more mistakes than they have because I'm a little older than they are. So I've made enough good ones and bad ones and big ones and little ones, that if I can prevent somebody from having to do that, um, why not?
Sure.
You know,
Yeah,
just some of that shit can hurt.
absolutely. And having a trusted advisor goes a long way. And with the team that you guys are assembling there, it's you guys definitely cover a diverse background. Pretty much of, I guess, anywhere within an organization, right? From technology all the way to helping get an organization off the ground.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, we really, focus on the strategic advising component, right? So, um, getting a helping organizations really figure out mapping out what their next 3 to 5 years looks like, whether they're poising for an exit or they're looking to grow, potentially get their new line, how much capital equity are they going to need as far as that goes. So, where we really hone in on with them, and, part of the reason that we wanted to partner up with you all is there's a good component that once we get a plan in place, we need to we'll hand it off to them while we're still continuing to advise at a high level. But there are a lot of bumps that happen in the road, when people figure out different types of technology or, possibly the technology they have chosen doesn't work exactly the way they wanted it. And they need a little bit more hands-on help in order to get our plan into fruition.
Yeah. And that's what obviously I've known Bob, I think pretty much my entire career. First ELFA conference I went to, he put his arm around me and said, "Who do you want to meet?" And that was
Yeah.
what,
I didn't.
21.
I didn't change your first diaper, but I probably second or third, maybe.
Hey, I'm glad my diaper changing days are over, Liz. You?
I mean, we're all going to get back in them eventually. Let's just,
No, nope, not going there. Not,
you can edit this afterwards, right?
not going there. No, it's all good casual conversation, right? But yeah, I mean that was always kind of a challenge in the years of selling software, right? It's like you have this original plan. I'm sorry. You gotta love technology when it works. You have this original plan that you're out there and you're setting a strategy and you're doing all this work, and then you turn it off or turn it over to somebody else, or you turn it over to them to do, and just unfortunately priorities change, right? Business changes, and then whatever you're set out to do is not fully executed, and then they don't have a great experience. So,
Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, from my perspective, it worries me sometimes, and it's always worried me that we work on the strategic part, and it's in the implementation, which is a tactical thing that has to happen on the ground, and the customer has to do that. Our client has to do that, and if it doesn't go well, then by inference, it reflects indirectly on us. I don't like that idea. And so, to us, we would rather suggest the best you can find in terms of the tactical and the staff augmentation and all the pieces that consult disrupt. There was a missing piece in our puzzle because we're 100% strategy and but it depends on the implementation of the strategy. And if that's not right, then it's all for naught, right?
yeah,
And so hence that's why, you and I talked forever about this idea and then finally the opportunity arose and we got a few minutes to ourselves to think about it and do it. And so that's the real reason for, what's behind all this, what's behind why did Consult Disrupt and RAS team up. That's kind of it in a nutshell.
yeah. And from our resources perspective, we're more hands-on keyboard tactical, and we have some strategy, but there wasn't really any big strategic overlap. So what the RAS team brings to the table was what we were missing too. I mean, anytime that someone was asking me about that, I'm like, call Bob, call Bob. So as we get to know
Appreciate
more,
that.
like what Tom I guess both Toms do. What Harry does and the rest of the team there.
Yeah,
I just think there's some good synergies there from a working relationship perspective.
yeah. And from an IT perspective, we part of us, we have uh, you mentioned Tom Ware, not IT, but Tom on a true credit analytical, developing the scorecard model and reviewing the scorecard model. There just isn't anybody better. But from a technology standpoint, we have some technology components, and Mike Varney
Hmm.
on our group, but his focus is very much higher level. It's developing the infrastructure and the interplay of the technological infrastructure. It's not the LOS, it's not the LMS. That's not what he's focused on. It's kind of like, how does all this stuff work together, but also in a cost effective way? And also the cybersecurity part of it and making sure that's all nailed down. So, if you're looking for an exit strategy and your exit's going to probably be a bank, um, then most likely you're going to have to go through all the traps during due diligence. And if everything you have is either homegrown or it's on premise, it's going to give them incredible amounts of heartburn.
Sure.
Um, and the last thing you want to do is buy a company and a month later get hit with ransomware and it's shut down. I mean, God forbid. And so, and then, Deb Rubin on the technology side as well. I mean, it's again, much more strategy on the big picture, developing, the process implementation, process mapping. And, before you go out to an RFP, making sure you really think through your business model, because you can buy any kind of software you want. You can buy the best software in the world. But if you try to implement your business process the way it is on top of that, 9 times out of 10, it won't work that way. Or
Sure.
you're going to sit there and customize the shit out of a software implementation that it was not meant to do. And that's that's worth more. That's worth its weight in gold. That's worth more than actually the money you'll blow on on a software decision and then have it go wrong. And it takes 9 to 12 months to implement it, and then maybe even then the go live, you decide to pull the plug.
Yeah.
What was that? What was that worth? So I'd rather them
Millions.
spend. Yeah, I'd rather the clients do a better job with highly qualified strategists to make sure they're thinking through it all, making sure that thinking through the business process is more important.
Absolutely. And then what Mike Varney has is a fractional what CIO, some of that
Yeah.
side of the house. I mean, those reviews that he can do, I mean, that's instrumental. I don't think there's anyone else in this industry that does that. Um,
No, and there are probably very few of our independent leasing companies that are out there that actually have a CIO.
well,
They have,
and when it's CIO, it's more that I think all they're doing is just vendor
yeah,
management side of a
MSP.
CIO.
They have an
Um,
MSP, but nobody can afford a full-time CIO, and nor do you
no,
need one.
no,
And
no.
that's where Mike comes in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
And the readiness for Deb Rubin to get teams ready for, I guess, embracing the suck of
yeah.
technology changes.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if that's a
It,
good
it,
phrase or not, but it's kind of
I
is
mean,
what it is.
software
Right.
conversions can best be classified as a suck. Even if it
Well,
goes well, it's still a suck.
what I love about Deb's process and Deb's team especially is how they get all the stakeholders along the course of the process, right? So I think, we've worked with her on a project where there were people that were working at the same company that had no idea what each other really did, right? So I think, everybody on our team adds, a very specific, or, really good perspective for every single type of client. And as you guys both know, I mean, every organization within our industry is very nuanced.
Yeah,
That is true. That is true.
exactly.
Why I love this industry so much. There's never a
Mhm.
lack of learning.
No,
Mm-mm.
no. So,
No.
one of the questions that I get asked is kind of what, obviously every engagement that we have is different, but from I guess a sample client experience, Liz and Bob, from an RAS to CD, kind of a relationship perspective, like what does that look like to an organization?
Yeah. So, we spend the greater part of a year, sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more, working with a client to help them figure out what their goals are going to be. Right. And then at some point, the the strategic part is over and you have to get into the tactical side of, what does that look like? Is that hands-on implementing some sort of IT strategy or operational strategy? And so that's where we find that working with you is going to be extremely helpful to the client. An entire team that's ingrained and has been working on this industry a really long time that have seen all there is to see. Being able to quickly come up to speed with a very nice handoff from us to be brought in to hands in, get things done pretty quickly.
Well,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and
And I
so
think
your
oh, go
team
ahead,
is
Bob.
you got such high quality team members that their expertise is actually in the tactical stage. That's what they've done in an operational standpoint is one example, and actually in the trenches of solving the day-to-day problems of what you run into, the backlogs, the log jams, all the stuff, and how do you fix this stuff in real time? And there's got to be a better way as opposed to let's just keep smashing our fingers with a hammer,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Well, and I think of when we kind of introduced the teams, I don't know, a couple months ago, the collective knowledge between all the team members. I like that dynamic of this relationship too, where
Mhm.
we can pull one another in and basically have a subject matter expert from any part of the business.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah,
I don't know if there's been companies in equipment finance that have ever had that.
no, not that I know, and I've only been doing this a few years, so I don't know. What do I know?
Uh, it's great. Well, and plus it makes our job easier, quite frankly, if they've been working with you, and you guys have the requirements it's just easier for us to get up to speed too. So I think that's been great.
And we can explain it easier to you than asking the customer to explain it to you because they got two different parlances. Um, they got their speak and then they got the industry speak, and we play as in some ways an interpreter, so we don't have to get the customer involved to confuse the shit out of you guys with their speak.
Yeah. Different terms, same thing. Same.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah. And then just shifting gears a little bit, from I guess an industry perspective, um, just like you guys, we talk to a lot of people on a regular basis. How are you seeing kind of the state of equipment finance as of what is it, July, late in July, 2026?
From what perspective?
Like just like I mean, we've seen some M&A activity this year. Do you think there's going to be more consolidation coming up? I mean, well, we just saw a bunch of stuff happen at Fox Ridge, right? They kind of popped up out of nowhere, but a familiar team with familiar leadership, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So it's like, do you anticipate more um new startups coming in? See some of these acquisitions that are happening. Would be more of that type of activity, Bob?
I want to see what Liz says. What do you think,
Well,
Liz?
uh,
Get that crystal ball out.
but I mean, I think what you're talking about in all these areas that are popping up, it's large in part to the private equity that has come in when the banks constricted after Silicon Valley tightened everybody up, right?
Sure.
It's not anything new there as far as 2026 goes. I mean, it's still sort of a roll off from that, right? Private equity has come in, they see the value in the equipment finance sector.
Mhm.
And therefore, as I like to call it, as many people on our team are unsuccessfully retired, people who want back in the game, right? People with a lot of knowledge that want to come back in who aren't done, and have an opportunity to build new spaces. But in the same time, with things opening back up at banks, there's a lot more interest and the banks getting back in the business. So I think we're going to continue to see a lot more growth and activity in our sector. And a lot of what we do, as I mentioned earlier, is on the bank side, educating the, you know, medium regional banks about the space or, sometimes private equity or private wealth. And it's I guess to get back to your original question, yeah, there's going to continue to be a lot of activity, but in which direction, we'll see. But I don't think I think our space it's an exciting. When I saw the banks contracting, of course, I was currently at a bank at that time and
Sure.
seeing everything tighten up. You're like, okay, I get it. I understand what's coming down from the top, but at the same time, you still need these assets. You still need this. And so how does that work? And what I love about working with Bob is it's the intermediaries, right? So a lot of people, a lot of the originators broke off and started their own shops, specifically in what they know. And that's very exciting to see, people who really understand their target segments and have been able to uh, create really good small independents that are now growing leaps and bounds. What did I miss there, Bob?
Hmm. She good, Bob.
Uh,
I'm gonna have her take my calls.
she's real good. Yeah. All right. I'm going to leave and you guys can talk the rest of the time. I'm going to go get another cigar and you guys have fun. Um, so there's just a lot. Yes, the private equities are going to come in because they've seen other private equities have success at it. Um, some know what they're doing. Um, some really know what they're doing and get it completely, and others just say, "I got a pile of money, not been in this space before. We want to buy a leasing company." It's like, yeah, what kind?
Yeah,
What kind of leasing company?
I want
Well,
a pony.
leasing. Yeah, I want an equipment leasing company. It's like going to an auto mall and shouting from the corner, "I want to buy a car." It's like there's only about 50 dealerships around you. What kind of car do you want?
sure.
Just a car. Well,
Sure.
then good luck. Good luck with that. You know, I don't know what to tell you. But then there are those. The private equity has that market has a cycle. And the private equity gets in, they buy a leasing company and they put it into one of their portfolio companies or one of their portfolios. And the money they put in, there's a finite amount of that of equity. And they may not be prepared as that leasing company grows to continue to fund it to the point that it's going to have its best value because they may not have the time frame to do that. So to figure 5 to 7 years, well, just look at the top 10 equipment private independent equipment leasing companies, and what percentage of those are private equity owned. I think it's a fairly high number, and they have all been in for more than 7 years. So it's time. So it won't be a matter, just a short matter of time. That's 2026, 2027. I think you're going to see a lot of movement. And that movement will then spawn some jettisoning off of people who will say, I can do it again. So there's a lot of exciting stuff going on, in my opinion.
Good.
Well, good
Good.
time. I think as far as activity goes, we're in good timing. And look at Verdant. That was private equity owned. They had to come out. That was a good example. You know, but again, just pull up the top 10 independents and privately held independents that are not captives, obviously, and you pretty much have your bullseye of what's going to change in the next year and a half to two max.
Interesting. Interesting. And from I guess a service provider perspective, there's been so many new service providers that have come in from a technology perspective. So
Yeah,
I'm waiting to see some
it's
of
going to
them.
get more exciting, I think, from a technology standpoint. This is like the cusp of the internet when the first internet came out and before it hit the hockey stick, kind of growth trajectory. The AI piece is going to, completely revolutionize the current software providers and the services they provide. It's going to take it to a whole new level. Where that level is, I don't know. It's still too early to tell what it's going to look like, but it's certainly going to be different.
Are you leveraging AI, Bob?
Only really when it comes to what cigar I'm going to have. I've actually got a chat GPT. I wouldn't call it an agent, but I can tell it what I'm feeling like, and it knows what kind of cigars I like now. I've built all that into it, so it suggests exactly what I'm looking for.
It's
Yeah.
fantastic. Of course. Of course. Now, do you
So
have a bourbon that it recommends too with each cigar? Or is that the next
yeah,
iteration?
no. I'm past that. I passed that for sure. It just now gets down to, how much do you want to spend on that bottle now? If, do you want a 15-year scotch, you want an 18-year scotch, but the 18-year scotch is going to go better. But is it really worth, so yeah, it's good cost analysis and everything. So I've got it down to a science on that part of it. So ChatGPT has changed my life.
That's, I guess, a classic Bob Rinaldi response to that. Okay. That's awesome.
Of course, we're leveraging AI.
I just told somebody, I was like, oh yeah, I built this in here, and the guy was so disappointed. He goes, I thought you were better than that. And I'm like, oh, like really? I'm like, come on. Oh, help me out here. Help me out. But whatever. You're always gonna have your detractors, I guess. But
You will. But when it comes to, it's truly when we do use it a bit, um, pretty heavily actually in some circumstances when we get large data sets um, of client data tape. It used to be a bit of a laborious task to run all the pivot tables and to try to really slice and dice the portfolio. Well, it's simple now, and it's even better than I would have been able to do on my own. Um, so from that perspective, chunks of data and looking for trends in that data, tease out what it's trying to tell me. That's you know th- that's where it's valuable. It's one thing to give you the data, but then I got to look at it, and Liz looks at it and go, well, this is what it's telling us then. So
Mhm.
yeah, from that perspective, it's changed what we do a bit.
yeah. But yeah,
I,
you gotta challenge the data every now and then because sometimes you sit there and it's like that's not accurate.
Often,
Like,
often.
yeah, yeah. Or you
I
sit there.
honestly think back to, I mean, when I first started and how we were implementing it and those things that we take for granted at this point in time. I mean, we have our AI note taker, and then as far as developing our contracts that we work on with projects, right? That is a no-brainer. It used to take a ton of time that Bob was able to develop a GPT specifically for that. So what used to take, 45 minutes takes 15 minutes for us to be able to put together a proposal for a client. Like those kind of things you almost take for granted, which is so weird that it's only been like a year and a half that since we implemented it, and we're already
Mhm.
taking for granted how much time we've saved from it.
Mhm.
It also helps cut down on project time too, from
Yeah.
an hour's
It does.
perspective in regards to
It
tasks
does.
that were just menial. And it's like, God, it takes forever to do this. Now you just kind of throw it in there and you have to iterate quite a bit just to make sure it's accurate, right? You always
Yeah.
have to
Yeah,
double check. But once you kind of get it down, it's nice.
it
Speed,
is. It is. But
speed
you
things
still
up.
have to check it out. You still have to double check. You still have to push it. I have to laugh. I was like, yesterday or day before, I was working on this pro forma development, and it was just taking forever with ChatGPT. It was changing. It was drifting. And I fed it, and I almost treating it like a person. I typed back WTF question mark to ChatGPT,
Yeah.
and it replied back, "Well, sorry you feel that way." Like, and later, about an hour later, I'm still working on this, and I finally got there, and I said, "Fantastic," and the reply was, "I know you're being sarcastic."
Did it really?
Yeah,
Fantastic. Yeah, yeah. Because I say WTF when it comes, I'm like, what is this? I'm like, not even close. I'm
yeah.
like, and
But
I tell it, I'm like, you're better than this.
yeah,
It's
well,
Uh,
like,
I mean, think about this for a second. When I finally tell it it did a good job, it replied back, "Given our past hour, you're just being sarcastic," is what it told me.
it
Hey, it's fantastic.
knows you. It knows.
No,
It gets me.
It gets you. It gets
I
you.
asked mine the other day if we were beefing. And
You
it's,
were what?
the term beefing, like fighting.
I
Yeah,
never heard
it
of that
was
term.
not, it was being very contrary. And I was like, are we beefing? And they're like, no, 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 I promise we're not. And I was like, I don't believe you.
You never
But
heard that, Bob? We got beef. We got beef.
I remember where's the beef. I don't remember that beef.
I would say it's a Midwest thing, but you guys are both from the same town. So
Midwest.
I know. Anyhow, I really appreciate both your times today. Excited for the RAS and CD partnership. It's
Me too.
we had a really good response from the industry when that press release went out, and it's going to be a fun partnership between both organizations.
I was looking
yeah.
forward to it.
No, I'm looking forward to when we're actually working with a client together. I know we've got a few in the pipeline, but when we get a really good project, and I know that that'll be coming here soon. So
Absolutely. Well, thank you
Agreed.
both for your time today, and we'll be talking soon. Thank you.
thanks, Jesse.
Thanks.
Bye, Bob.
Aye.